Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's Hollywood Hills show. So yeah, we kicked off the season nice and early. The first couple of shows of the year have been just telling you what's kind of on the cards and what's been coming up. We went out to Botchabelo a couple of weeks back. We checked out what the venue was going to be like for the opening round of Farm Jam. And then last weekend, we went out there and we went racing. And man, what an entry. Just under 300 riders before payday, after the holidays in January. Thank you guys. It really made for an incredible day, an incredible spectacle. Looks like everyone walked away knowing that they have to put in a little bit of extra work before the next round, but super pumped to get back on their bikes and go racing. This is what went down out at Farm Jam, the opening round of the championship and the 100th ever running of Farm Jam. Congratulations, Farm Jam. Keep up the good work. This Pirelli and Motul Farm Jam Hair Scramble racing action is proudly brought to you in association with Vans Racing, Stack Ups, SVR Innovations, V2 Designs, and ANCAT Engineering. We're back with Farm Jam, and the opening round of 2024 marks the 100th ever running of the incredible Farm Jam Championship Hair Scramble Racing Tour.
I love it. I'll definitely do the next one.
It's going to be a good year, especially on the Farm Jam.
This is an awesome event. Quite excited, ready to have some fun out here today.
Super excited, a bit nervous.
So let's go riding and enjoy.
Great experience, a little bit tough.
Yeah, I'm excited but also nervous. I will see what happens.
It's a rock and roll start here at Farm Jam. Botchabelo hosting us for the 4th time. Leon, can you believe how many people rocked up for this one?
Yeah, beginning of the year, and I think everyone's keen to go racing this year. We've got a lot of entries, we've got a lacquer venue. I think it's going to be a good day.
I've been out here 2 weeks ago when you guys were doing the recce and everything. I haven't seen conditions like this before. It's just perfect.
Yeah, I think this is perfect for anyone to race today because the ground is wet. But today we got a nice clear sky. This whole week while we were marking it was raining. But I think it's going to be perfect.
Ton of, well, not a ton, but quite a few new categories. So we've lost the vintage guys, but we have picked up the Grandmasters. And what a story.
Yeah, I mean, we lost the vintage oak, and then now we've got Grandmasters and the green loop coming in. These are made up, I think, about 40 riders in total. So it's a good thing. Now the older guys can race as well.
It's going to be an awesome day. Stay with us as we bring you the action from the first round of Farm Jam. As always, we went down in the pits and caught up with some pre-event interviews. The nerves were definitely jangling.
Super excited, a bit nervous. I think we had a discussion this morning. The last time we raced was in 2015. And now we think we do need what will we call a handicap for every year or over 40 that you are. Yeah. But it's super excited. I think it's a fun race. It caters for everybody and it's affordable. So yeah, looking forward to it. And they do not promise me a case of beer if I allow it to beat me.
Oh, good, eh? It's been a while. Especially on like an off-road or faster type race. We bang bars in the beginning, but then she normally drops me, so it's okay. I'll go chili.
Chili, yeah. Chili is always better.
I don't want to fuck up my mooses too bad. We're going next week again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, we'll go for the chili.
Go for the chili,
yes,
properly,
yeah. Edwina made me.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
No, it really looks like a great race. I'm actually from Middelburg, so I'm glad to come here. I can visit my father, support the locals, and it's affordable fun. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Just to have fun and learn, I guess. I'm quite nervous, I guess. But yeah, I did Forge, and I had a really a good time there. So I want to try Farm Jam out. I've heard that it's quite technical, so I'm a little worried, but I'm sure I'll do fine. For my first race, I think I'm going to stick to ice cream. If that's too easy, I'll see if I want to do some chili. If not, then we'll stick to ice cream.
Yeah, thank you. A very, very early start to the year, I must say. We haven't been on the bike since last year. So I think arm pump is going to be a little bit of a challenge today, but I'm looking forward to it. I see the ladies class is massive. So it's good for the ladies to come in. I think it's going to be good competition. They said this year the chili will be a lot quicker, so I'll see. Let's do chili, and then if someone goes on ice cream and they're quicker, then the next lap you try the ice cream. But I'm sure chili will be the option for today. Rocks. Rocks and mud, that's what I can remember, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot nervous. The rain has come down here, so luckily no dust gonna be here. The start looks very lacquer, the chili also. Yeah, I'm excited but also nervous. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it was obviously hard, a lot of rocks and yeah, up and downs, twists and turns, and yeah, everything. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the chili for the first lap, and then if I'm gonna get stuck with just gonna take the ice cream the next laps or something.
Yeah, it's a very nice track. It looks very fun. I'm just gonna give my best and hopefully we get a good place. I don't know. Like, it's just a fun track. I like the chili and ice cream, so hopefully I'm just gonna get whole shot and just push through. I'm gonna do the chili first lap, and I'm gonna look how it looks. If there's gonna be a bottleneck, I'm gonna maybe try the ice cream, and then I'm gonna look through the track.
I'm feeling very excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of rocks. I expect some dust and mud, but I don't know. Let's just see where the track takes us.
So the morning session, the senior 85s with a stacked gate and the promise of new champions as well, with a lot of the big swingers from last season moving up into the 125 category. Senior 85s was going to be all about Mitch Fallon and Stian van der Heever stepping out, so new blood would be coming to the top. Derek van Aspergen, first time out at Farm Jam, first hole shot for him. The ladies' gate, Zaria Farid got a short-lived hole shot, but remember, it's Queen Cat going for her three-peat, a three-time championship winner on the cards. She lined up in second place going into the first of the Chili's, but Cindy Borovic was on her wheel. Then onto the junior gates, and the junior 85s, Liam Skierpers hammered it out of the gate with Kaya Kutsia, the 65cc champion, on his wheels, trying to get the job done, along with Volko de Ploy and Ruvan de Beer. Then in the 65 pros, Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen fired it off the gate once again to see clear air, but he had his good buddy Derek Milan, Low Lombard, Zach Attack Stubbs, Declan Richards, Dalton Powell and Byron van der Merwe on his wheel tracks. Junior 65s, DC Daniel fired the gas out front, and he had Alonso Ashadina and Ulufsa on his wheel. Ulufsa, first time out on the Farm Jam and running inside the top 3. The reigning 50cc champion from 2023, Ian van Rensburg, was out there as well, hammering the nail ahead of Potgieter, Labiskakny and Kruger. All the juniors out there onto the trail, ready to rock and roll at Botchabelo. Morning session as always, the juniors will go out. It's a 13-kilometer loop. Let's talk about that one.
Yeah, 13Ks for the juniors. Their whole route is a 50-50 route, same like the big guys. They got 50% technical, they got 50% like open flat sort of riding. They got 2 chili and ice cream sections that they can choose of. We want to get the juniors into that, and it's going to be a nice feed for when they get to the bigger bikes.
Oh yes, Botchabelo was going to be rock and roll the whole way through the day. Primo conditions for everyone out there, and everyone really enjoyed their time. On the 50cc gate, Kruger was out there rocking down to number 4 spot with JC Labiskakny into the number 3. Jano Potgieter was the only rider who could hang tough with Ian van Rensburg, but eventually Van Rensburg pulling 5 minutes out of his competition. A great start to his title defense after running off the front and nailing down the championship in 2023. SVR Racing's Ian van Rensburg in good shape to start out 2024. Then into the junior 65 category, good numbers on the page, where we saw Seb Nell also making the move up from the 50s into the 65s. Bash getting himself up onto the box with the number 6 ride. Julian van der Berg, not too far up the road from him. 3 laps scored and counted for those 2 kids. And then the guys that made it inside of the top 4 were on the lead lap. That's 4 laps scored and counted. First of those was Kuan Cornelius, getting jammed up a little bit in the forest section, but there was plenty of marshals out there and a really good format of the track to allow some of the juniors in the smaller wheel categories to have a taste of some of the tech zones. Everyone came back absolutely pumped, saying this was the raddest track they have ever ridden. Some new blood coming into the number 3 spot. First time ever out at Farm Jam. Devan Ulofse getting it done into a number 3 spot. So he has arrived with a big bang. Alonso Ashadina, we know this kid can handle himself, and the more tech, the better for this guy as well. 2:19 his eventual race time, meaning he only lost out on the win by a slender 2 minutes. Alonso really firing the gun nicely though, coming out of the Roos KTM squad. DC Daniel then ran off the front early on with a big hole shot and got the gas fired up. Stretched his legs, Ashadina had him in sight the whole way through the day, but eventually DC got the job done, and he is going to be points leader heading into round number 2. So Daniel, the best of our junior 65s, and then the big swingers, the pro 65 riders. These would be throwing some bigger numbers, and at the top of the scale, they'd be running probably 1 or 2 laps faster than the rest of the guys as well. Eventual 7th place going to Byron van der Merwe. Dalton Powell was up there with the number 6 with Declan Richards not finding his groove early on, dropping down and having some issues down to a number 5 ride. Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen also had some problems early on, bogging down and stalling his bike, losing a lot of time on the side of the trails until eventually he got going. He would have to climb the ladder, plow the field, and get past his good buddy Declan Richards. Richards, though, remained in the number 5 spot for the rest of the morning session. He could not recover from that spot. Zach Attack Stubbs, one of the kids we've seen coming on, a 3-rider strong family. His older brother and his dad also out here supporting Farm Jam for many, many years. And Zach moving up and getting a strong number 4 ride going. Low Lombard came on very strong towards the end of 2023, and we all think he is going to be a very strong championship campaigner throughout 2024. Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen did recover from his early problems in the event, but unfortunately the race had gone away from him. The best he was going to ever do was a number 2 spot. He eventually pulled back 2nd place, after having a nice early dice before his problems with eventual race winner, Derek Milan. Milan walking away with a 3-minute lead. Van der Westhuizen has some work to do between the next couple of events, but Milan is the dude at the moment. We caught up with a couple of reactions after the 50cc and 65cc gates.
Yeah, this day was really tough. I came out with full short, led the first lap, and we went on the chili and I made a mistake there. I lost some car. And when I went out of the chili, I forgot to get down. That just happened. But tough day, but yeah, did me off 5 years. And the mud was crazy. Yeah, it was the toughest function ever.
Here's confirmation of Milan's win over Van der Westhuizen. Lombard, Stubbs, Richards, Powell, and Van der Merwe take us to the top 7. This is going to be a tight gate throughout the rest of the season for sure. In the junior 65s, even thicker numbers here as well. Well over 20 dudes on the gate, but DC Daniel sets out his stall nice and early, beating out on Ashadina Ulofse, Cornelius van der Berg, Nel Skippers, and Tunes. And then in the 50cc gate, where we will see a couple of new riders come through throughout the rest of the championship. But at round 1, it was all about Ian van Rensburg beating out on Potgieter, Labuskachny, and Kruger. Those were the small wheels. Let's move on up the grid as we pick up on the 85s. Starting out with our junior 85s, where once again we saw a lot of upstart riders coming through from the 65 Pro gate from last season. Up into 6th place was Erbert Goosen and Andre Skippers. They were all over each other in the early laps. Eventually Skippers moving up and staying on the lead lap with 5 laps under his belt, knocking Erbert Goosen down to a number 6 finish eventually. The top 4 riders would be the ones setting the pace throughout the rest of the morning session. Remember, the kids out there on the 13-kilometer loop running a 2-hour racing format. Roo van der Beer charging his way forward there into a number 4 spot. Himself and Wilco de Ploy, they were joined at the hip early on, with Wilco eventually getting a move on and getting on up the road. This kid is really charging up. This is his first official race on the 65s. Same situation for Geir Kutsia, so cool to see the progression happen, and I love that part of racing where we see the juniors lining up and moving up throughout the categories. De Beer was 4th, Deploy in 3rd place, Pierre getting a number 2 spot. He just could not hang onto the wheel of Liam Skippers, who eventually, later on in the race, pulled a bit of a gap and walked away with his first round win at the Farm Jams. He was on another level, but as the season goes on and those new kids on the 85s figure out how to get the job done, they'll be absolutely charging. In the senior 85s, these are the kids that ran out there on the big loop. Remember, that's a 20k lapper and much more technical terrain. We're going to see interesting results and names climb the ladder. Reese Katzowitz up there into a number 6 ride with Willem Jacobs running a number 5. 3 laps counted for those guys. You had to go all the way up into the top 4 to see who was going to run on the lead lap. That's 4 laps scored and counted. First of those was Hannes de Beer, rocking it to a number 4 finish. He had a good hole shot, but unfortunately made a couple of mistakes out there early on in the event that dropped him down. Mackenzie Bam back on the money, running and rocking here at the Farm Jams. Looks like her race program is going to put her into more technical riding for the rest of the season. So cool to see her dust things off nicely with a solid 3rd place ride. Embarrassing a couple of the boys, as she has done throughout her entire career. Werner Kleinans, he's always going to be a big threat. Very solid rider, puts in a lot of time in the off-season. Looked like he had a big crash early on, destroying his clutch, so amazing to see that 2nd place ride coming into play. But it was the whole shot kid, Derek van Asvegen. For the last couple of years, we've been talking about him as a motocross crossover. He came and swung a leg at some of the cross-country events. Now he is out at the Farm Jams. Tall kid as well, so very, very adept in this kind of technical terrain. Hammered the nail and put it down, but he only just beat out to walk away with his first ever Farm Jam win at the first ever time of asking. Into the ladies' gate, where we saw rocking numbers as well. The biggest ever ladies' entry we have ever seen, and cool that it happened at the 100th ever running of the Farm Jam series. 6th place eventually going to Kim Fenter with Lindy Buerta up the road from her. In fact, they stayed on a 3-lap count with only the top 3 ladies on the event walking away with the lead lap. In other words, going 4 for 4 on the lap count. It was an early hole shot for Zario Farid, but it was short-lived as they went into the first of the chili splits, where she dropped down, eventually walking away with 4 laps scored and counted. choosing to not actually go out onto the final lap. Probably something to do with the temperatures coming up. Even in the morning session for the 2-hour event for the ladies, we were well into the 30 degrees. Edwina Lutsch, first time out at the Farm Jams. We know this lady from some of the more technical tours, and she knows exactly how to handle the bikes. Maybe needs to pick up on her flatland speed, but third place was a very nice first outing for her. Catherine Mostert, the reigning two-time queen of Farm Jam, had some problems on the day, losing a lot of weight in the off-season and not changing the setup on her bike, so the suspension was all over the place. That, with an ailing clutch as well, dropped her down for her into a very low second place position. She wasn't too far off. Eventually 6 minutes though was the gap for Cindy Porovic. She got the lead on lap number 1 and she was gone. A multi-cross rider, she can ride motocross, supermoto, superbikes, off-road, whatever you throw at her, and it's cool to have some new talent coming in to challenge the dominance of Queen Cat out here at the Farm Jams. Porovic was stoked but humble at the end of her first Farm Jam.
Yeah, well, that was actually so good. I was a bit technical, like a muddy, something of everything. It was really so nice. I really enjoyed it. Had a bit of a bar bashing, sorry Catherine, in the beginning. Went through the same rock and I took another line. And yeah, it was fun. I see all the lighties out there, they're also enjoying it. But yeah, all day just catching up. I think the marshals are very good en route. The markings were really, really very good. And just a lack of atmosphere as well.
No, it was in your face the whole day. I just could not get any flow. I mean, coming from holiday, no training, no nothing. The hands really felt it. I just couldn't get any motion going. So yeah, it wasn't the best day for me. Yeah, I just couldn't hold on anymore. Coming down the rocky sections, the clutch was just too far. And I don't know, yeah, it's just bike setup. It's the beginning of the year. We need to go train, we need to do bike setup. But everything will come this year. Yeah, I'll take it. It's only the start of the year. There's still, 4 races to go. You don't lose the championship the first race.
Yeah, it was good to win this one. It was not too tough, but there were some sections you got super slippery, got on the mud, got on the rocks, and I struggled a bit. On this last lap, I thought he is going to catch me, but luckily he got stuck. Because I also got stuck, but yeah, it was a good one.
And I saw some ruts that were pretty deep,
yes,
eh?
I wound up, you were standing there, I was just, wow! It was crazy.
It was a nice race, it was a bit tough, the rocks, with my flat tyre. It was kind of difficult to ride over the rocks, bumpy. The track was nice. Thank you for Jon and Tanny, Melissa for setting out this track. It was a very nice track.
It's very nice, it's better than the 55. I went these 4 bikes in 2.5 weeks, so yeah, it's better. Just fun. The chili was the best too, so yeah, just fun. I just rode, I crossed.
Here's confirmation of the remaining results from the morning session. Porovic, a new name on top, beating out on Queen Catherine Mostert. Lutsch in third place ahead of Zaria Fari and Buerta. There's going to be some big wars on the ladies' gate throughout 2024. 85cc pros, new names throughout the top 4. We love this. In our hair scramble racing, Van Asvegen ahead of Kleinams. He's been on the podium before. Bam is back, De Beer is there, and Jacobs. That's going to come absolutely wild throughout the championship. 85 juniors, Skierpers, Kutsia, deployed De Beer and Skierpers. Wow, what a great start to the Farm Jam Hair Scramble Championship in 2024. That was the morning session. Hold your breath. It's going to get wild in the afternoon. This Pirelli and Mottl Farm Jam Hair Scramble racing action is proudly brought to you in association with Vans Racing, Stack Ups, SVR Innovations, Vitru Designs, and ANCAT Engineering. It seemed like just about everyone was on the gate, lined up, and ready to rip the bars off for the opening round of Farm Jam. We hit the pits.
Yeah, I am. It's going to be a good year, especially on the Farm Jams. You're looking to do all the Farm Jams, trying to do it on the 450 and see how it goes. I haven't raced here before, but I know that the rain is my hometown, so I know that the rain, but yeah, it's going to be difficult. I know it. Going for the chili on the first lap. Maybe the second lap with bottlenecks, we're going to go to the ice cream maybe, but we'll see how it goes. And look, I like the Farm Jams. I've been with Leon and them since the first Farm Jam when they still kept it at the dirt tracks. So yeah, I love it. It's nice atmosphere, it's a nice vibe. it's a fun event to do. So that's why I decided to do it this year.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. A little bit early for everybody in the year, but get everything prepped, everything. Presented the team on Thursday night as well, so we've been working our alleys off to get here. But yeah, I think we're in for a good season. The turnout today looks fantastic. And yeah, let's have another great racing season as a family of bikers as well. So we just wish everyone best of luck. Botchabelo last year was my first run of the Farm Jam because I missed the first run, so the second one was my first. But it was an awesome race, but it was just rocks, loose rocks, and nice and tech. Not a heavy tech that you're really battling, but there were some interesting sections, and I think we're in for a little surprise today at the start here. So let's go riding and enjoy. No, we take the chili, dude. Shut up and ride and do the chili, don't be scared.
Oh no, we're feeling good. We've got a good old 2-stroke here, so we're no longer fighting the 4-stroke in the rocks. Quite excited, ready to have some fun out here today. I remember it was hard work. I remember it was very hard work, but it'll be fun. Keen to see how it's changed up this year. We're just going to go for the chili. No wasting time, it's chili.
This is an awesome event, I'll say. It looks a bit wet, I did walk the new route, well, the peri peri loop and the chicken loop just to check things out. But I must say, I think the peri peri route is going to be quite technical today. I see there's a few step ups, there's some tight cornering in there, so you need to watch out your foot pegs and your swing arms. And I'll definitely go with peri peri today. Chicken loop's a bit too far. It's nice and flowing, but there's a lot more mud. I remember fast section, it's rocky, sharp rocks, and it's quite loose, I must say. And this grass section, you get a lot of pump on the first 2 laps just to get loose again. Well, I've done the Roof of Africa, and it's been almost 2 months. I haven't ridden at all on my bike. So I did my bike new plastics. You're going to see I'm on a blue KTM today. I think it's going to be epic. Hopefully, I think my suspension setup is good. It's set it up for roof, so hopefully there's a lot of rocks today.
I'm very excited for this year. I got a new bike, I'm going to smoke it this year. Sun is shining today, so I think it's going to be really hot today. But I'm really excited for a 300. I think I'm going to take the 2-stroke now and not a 4-stroke anymore. I think it's better in the rocks and stuff, so I'm really excited there. Botchabele's got a lot of rocks, I remember last year, but it's still fun, and it's chili and ice cream route that you can take. So yeah, chili all the way. Yeah, I'm with the big boys now, H1 Pro, so it's going to be tough, but I'm looking forward to it.
No, nice, eh? I've been out of the saddle for a year, so this is a comeback. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a slow race. So you need to keep your head on, otherwise you won't last, so the idea is just to keep it clean and tidy and just have fun and see, how things go. No fancy stuff, just clean. The thing is, now you can see we've been nagging for that, because now the Masters, there's like 20 odd, and the Grandmasters is another 20. So that class would have been 40 on the gate. So I think it's a good thing. Yeah, ice cream all the way. I just want to flow, because as soon as we are aged, so as soon as you eat the first chili stuff, all your oomph is gone. So I'm just going to flow with the ice cream. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. You look at the number of participants here today. It's well supported. These guys put so much effort into the sport. It's unbelievable. Everything is so well marked. It's nice to see a lot of brands out here, new brands out here. I mean, the effort is amazing. I think it's going to be a really good day. We've been here a couple of times before, quite rocky. I think it's going to be no different in the start, and then you've got some lowlands which are a little bit faster and a little smoother. I think it's a great mix. They've definitely got the formula right for racing in this area. It's always going to be a chili. There's not an option. There has to be a chili. Sometimes they're not always faster, to be honest, but it looks like this one, the first one we've seen is going to be faster, so definitely it'll be chili.
Yeah, it's an awesome. I remember it from last year. It was just, I remember my whole shot. I think that might have been like one of my last rides on my 150 before I got the new bike. And perfect way to start a year is on a new bike, 24. I remember, like, as you can see back here, it's obviously a bit tech, but I think it did get open in some spaces. But I do remember like 1 or 2 tech climbs, not too bad. I'm looking for, if I get the whole shot or the top 3, then I'm definitely going chili. But if I'm not anywhere there, then I'm going straight for ice cream, just to try and get as much time as possible. Yeah, shout out to Access House. Thank you to them so much for making this all possible.
Onto the line, and the first big gate was the S1 Pros. Remember, the reigning champion is Ruan Smith, but this year he has got just about everyone on his shoulders. It was the return of Devastator, and Sean Vulcan was out there on a big 450 Honda. It was going to be all about who got the cheese and got the whole shot, and that was all about Devastator. Swinging a leg on the 300 Smoker, and he's back and banging. John Burter was there as well. So 2 Huskies running 1 and 2. S2 Pro Gate, Paul Burter had moved up and he got an aggressive whole shot, getting the cheese ahead of Von Kunen, Tyron Pelzer, and Ruan Mary also going up into the next category. Unruh Mostert fluffing his lines on the gate there. He would have to plow the field. In the S3 Pros, one of the pre-race favorites was going to be Ryan Pelzer. Jerome Stubbs did get a good number coming off the gate, with Steven van der Heever inside of the top 4 as well. Big swingers off the gate. In the seniors, Carl de Toy saw a little bit of clear air, but Hannes Simon was on his wheel. DJ Milan was a big threat coming into this event. On the Masters, Sean Kirk, Wayne Farmer, let battle commence as always, and Andre Mostert coming out hard into a high number 3 ride off the gate. Into the amateurs, starting out with the big bangers in the S1s. Massive threat coming into this one had to be Frans de Klerk. He was running inside the top 3, and based on his roof finish and his pace from last year, he was going to be an odds-on favorite. S2 amateurs, massive gate once again. Tristan Borchers, head to toe in the Alpine Stars, coming second out of the gate. He was going to try and run the Husky up the road. S3 amateurs once again, stacked gate. Opperman, Minnar, Vanderberg, banging bars nice and early on, trying to run the pace and get through that tech zone nice and early. A new category on the season, 18 riders strong in the Grand Masters. That's riders above 54 years of age, and everyone was chomping at the bit to put their name at the top of the pile at round number 1 of the series. S1 Novice, 19 riders. Wow. Just so cool to see so many people that keen to come riding and racing with us at the Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship in 2024. As the rest of the gates got clear and got gone, you could see that the track was going to chew up a little bit, especially in the grass and lowland areas. But this is God's country, and Botchabelo holds together nicely throughout all of the day's racing. S3 Novice, once again, the biggest gate of the day, 22 riders strong, where Estienne Kotzer would be one of the riders to watch out for. The Greenies, the brand new blood, looping out, the one and only loop out off the gate. Remember, the green riders would go out on the junior loop for a 2-hour race. This is welcome to Farm Jam. Hope you guys have a great day. Let's go out there and pick up on the racing. Well, all the riders went out there to figure out lap number 1 and how to get the best out of their setup at the Farm Jams. We remind ourselves that we have joined with Bikewise, bringing on the brands of Pirelli tires and Motul lubricants. They're going to be hanging with us in the pits, doing tire changes and lubrication assessments on the bikes throughout 2024. Welcome, Pirelli and Motul. Thanks for joining the show out here at Farm Jam. The Botchabelo terrain is absolutely perfect as far as 50-50 splits go. A little bit of rock, a little bit of tech, quite a lot of lowland grass as well, so the riders do get a chance to catch their breath. Let's pick up on the racing, starting out with our novice category riders. Luke Harris getting himself onto the show, climbing the ladder into a number 6 ride, with Johan Bosch up there into a number 5. These guys were on a 3-lap scored and counted. Up the road, number 4 spot going to Xavier Mulcahy, getting it done on a 3-lap. Up the road from him, first of the 4-lap scored encounters, was Milan Vanny Kirk on the 222. Third place for him. Not a bad race time as well. 4 laps in 2 hours and 51. Definitely got his money's worth. Estienne Kotzer came into the race full of confidence, but eventually had to settle for a 2nd place and took a bit of a beating there as well. Almost 15 seconds. It was Dion Jacobs that walked away with this one. Dion, his pace shows that he is going to be all out guns blazing for the rest of the season. Up the ladder into the S2 Novice, once again giving us, I think, our biggest gate of the day. Johan Scholz walking away with a 6th place ride, with Martin Els up the road in a number 5. These guys were just learning the track on lap number 1, and they all developed and got faster as the track really came to life in the afternoon session. The temperature came up though, so the last lap, these guys were absolutely cooking out there in the rocks. Gerard Nel walked away with a number 3 ride on his 6th day. Absolutely gorgeous looking KTM. Hopefully that thing survived the rest of the day out there in the rocks. Some tight spaces to squeeze through out there. George Carathanis made it look oh so easy on the Yami Smoker, the YZ getting the job done into 2nd place, only missing out on the win eventually by 1 minute to Aiden Strauss, who puts himself on the top of the score sheets. In the S1 Novice, the big bangers, these are the guys out there predominantly on 300cc bikes, or some of them did swing out on some big 450 thumpers. 6th place going to Franco Barnard, with Daniel Webb up there in a number 5 spot, and Edric Burke getting it done in a number 4. One of our camera crew enjoying the back tire and showing some love to Berkey as he stalls out in one of the tech zones early on in the loop. 3rd place up the road, Chad Eckert. He knows exactly how to approach these farm jams. Nice and smooth, nice and easy. Try and reserve as much energy as you can and let the race come to you. He was out there for 2 hours 41. Thea Deer Koch up the road from him, 2nd place, and also walking away with some good points in the back pocket. All you got to do is get the first race out the way, and then you can show where you can improve. Jacques Duplessis, not much room for improvement there. Top of the pile. First win of the season. We took a moment to remind ourselves that at round number 1 of the Farm Jam Championship, we introduced 2 new categories. One of those was the greenies. We chatted to them.
Great experience, a little bit tough on the rocks and stuff, but yeah, it was fun. One time I took chili bud and then from there ice cream. Actually, one of my friends are riding Farm Jam and stuff, so I thought let's try it out and stuff, yeah.
Blakey, how did you find the track?
I found the track doing awesome and great.
So I started riding, I came from a track background, started riding enduro and hooked up with the Battersby family. Little Matt actually coaches Blakey, and Matt's got me into the enduro now and pulled me into the Husky family and the Bikers family, and we're glad to be part of it. I took a lot of chili and a lot of ice cream. Depends on how I felt when I got there.
Really loved it. I think this is a good initiative from Farm Jam to introduce to guys that have been on a bike but hasn't experienced this before. So yeah, very well organized. The fast guys are fast, but yeah, overall loved it.
Let's take a breath and catch up on the boards from the novice and the greenies. Jacques Duplessis confirms his number at the top of the pile ahead of Koch, Eckert, Burke, Webb, Barnard, Rubenheimer and Boyson. That's in the big bangers. S2 novice, stacked gate once again. Strauss beating out on Carathanis, Gerard Nel. Then Martin Els beats out on Martin Els. That's not a typo. Same name, different dudes. Into the S3s, Dylan Jacobs gets out front nice and early in the season, beating out on Kotze, Van Kirk, Mulcahy and Bosch. And in the greenies, new blood on the tour. Martin Schoeman takes the win ahead of Louis Lowe, Bianca Barnard, Chris Kruger and Rudy Vermeulen just ahead of Wanya Smith, Potgieter and Van Sale. Welcome to the new greenies. We go out there back onto the track and go into our amateur categories. These are the guys with a little bit more experience under their belts on the Farm Jam Racing Tour. Dalmain Van Rooyen into a number 6 ride, just off the back wheel of Gareth Crawford. Crawford into a number 5 spot with 3 laps scored and counted. You have to go up the road to find Byron van der Berg. He was on the lead lap, 4 laps scored and counted. Knows what's what on the Brad Binder style double 3 machine. 3rd place and getting the big cheese this time around. Remember, it's a big brag nowadays on these stack gates to get into the top 3, and that goes to Hansi van der Berg. 2 hours 47 in the saddle for him. Ian Minnar, he came banging out of the gate, absolutely flying, and he knows what's what. You've got to run the numbers on lap number 1 if you want to stay inside the top 3. Minnar getting the cheese inside of 2nd place, eventually only losing out by just under 3 minutes to race winner Ruan Opperman. Opperman has been on the gate at Farm Jam for a couple of seasons now, and he has dialed himself, his machine, and his prep work towards getting the best out of Hare Scramble setup. into the S2 amateurs, where we saw a lot of new blood and old names coming back into the racing fold. Henry Jens van Rensburg getting a number 6 ride, and Bert Moe into a number 5. Bert Moe, we haven't seen him for a little while, and it looks like he's finding his groove once again as he slots himself nicely into a number 5 ride. Really just allowed the race to come to himself, did Bert, easing into lap number 1 and 2 and finding the sweet spot and the groove. A couple of lines opened up and changed as the course wore on, and that's what's cool about the Hare Scramble Championship. It never stays one line. The course and the riders must develop as the day goes on. Tristan Borges, he'd have expected more from himself, normally inside of the top 3, more likely the top 2 this time around. Some mechanical issues on the day, dropping him down to an eventual 4th place finish. Grant Usher, who's one of the top mountain bike riders out there and has started to develop himself as a good technical rider, comes out, and his first time out at Farm Jam shows what mountain bikers can do into a 3rd place ride. The top 2 riders didn't really stretch too far ahead of the rest of the riders. Dirk Coetzee getting it done into a number 2 spot, with Luca De Siena up the road from him into 1st place. They were joined very closely in laps 1 and 2, and as the refuel strategies came into play, De Siena started to look like he was running off the front, and his last 2 laps, he was on fire. Those 2 riders, the only riders in that gate to go onto a 5-lap scorecard. The big bangers in the S1 amateurs were going to have a tough day in the saddle if they were out there on the big 4 strokes. That was definitely the case for Pierre Piens, as he had to muscle the big Yami up and over and through the tight and technical terrain of Botchabelo. Yours Turon, no issues for him. He went for the smoker, going out on one of the old 300s, getting it done inside of a top 5. Big Ben was back on point as well. Ben Nell, he has been on the Farm Jam Tour for something like 10 years now, so cool to see him back and supporting his favorite format of racing. Ben 10 was banging just outside of the big numbers in 4th place. Liam Lear got it done inside of a number 3 on the 940 with 4 laps scored and counted. Out there for the 222, that's 2 hours and 22 minutes in the saddle. Chris Diethlin, or known to his buddies as Big Buzz, got it done into a number 2 ride. One of the pickups last season on the Bikers Warehouse squad. Stays on the bike, stays on the big 3 honey. Husqvarna into a number 2 spot. Lost out some big time on the day though. Matt Reynolds was absolutely gone off the front, putting something like 30 minutes into his closest rival. Reynolds, the only rider on that gate to go 5 laps, scored the rest of the riders on 4 laps. So he put a lap into his closest rivals. Here's confirmation of Reynolds hammering the nail ahead of Buzz. Lee, Nell, Turon, Piens, Engelbrecht and Van der Merwe taking us to the sweet spot in the top 8. That is in the S1 Big Bangers. S2s, Luca De Siena getting it done ahead of Coetzee. Usher, welcome to Farm Jamming. Great result for him ahead of Borges, Moe and Van Rensburg. And then flipping the page into the S3 Amateurs, Opperman ahead of Minnar, Vanderberg, Crawford, Van Rooyen, Freeman and Kroblar. Climb the ladder now as we go into our stack gates of age group category riders. The brand new category of Grandmasters for riders of 50 years and over. And 18 of these dudes came out of the garages to come and ride nice and early with us here at round number 1 of the Pirelli and Mottel Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship Racing Tour. Christo van der Merwe got it done inside of the top 6, beating out Urs Stossen and Conrad Edwards. Up the road from him was David Reynolds, who showed his form, style and experience on his Husky to get it up the road into a number 5. All these guys were on a 4-lap racing scorecard, showing that you don't just have to swing a golf club over the age of 54. You swing a leg over a bike and you come farm jamming. Mike Battersby, a couple of seasons now on the Bikers Warehouse squad and definitely has put in the off-season training. Gets himself up to one of his highest finishes into a number 4 ride. Up the road from him was Pierre Coetzee. Coetzee came out banging hard off the gate, showing that his racecraft is there. He knows that you've got to run the pace nice and early if you want to get the cheese. Coetzee, solid and consistent, running in 3rd place. And if you look at the times as well, there was only 4 minutes separating 1st, 2nd and 3rd. 2nd place this time around at the opening round of the championship, going to Anton Murray. He put his M63 Husqvarna up the road into second place and only missed out on the first win of the tour by just over a minute and a half. That honor going to Rian Visser. Visser was absolutely sublime coming off the gate. Timed the gate drop absolutely perfectly, ran clear air, and actually got onto the back wheel of some of the key riders up the road as well. So he's going to be the rider to beat on that tour right now. Into the seniors category, where once again we did not see our championship points leader and reigning champion Marco Cocci swing a leg at the first round. So no matter what, we are going to see different numbers at the top of the page. At the bottom of the page, in 6th place, Andries Oosthuizen gets it done to a number 6 ride, with Theo van Streep into a number 5. Van Streep did a good job as well, because there was some big pressure on him on the day. DJ Milan came in, I think, with a little bit of pressure on his shoulders. He knows this area very well, and on the championship tour, he should have been one of those riders to watch out for inside of the top 3, but he clearly had issues on the day getting a number 4 finish. Manny Ferreira, even though he threw it down in style, he still picked the bike up and walked away with a number 3 ride. Very tall rider is Manny, and it definitely helped him in some of the tech zones. Not all of them, but some of them. Manny, great numbers on the page for an early start to his championship campaign. Carl de Toy came out super aggressive off the gate, but looked like he faded like a flower towards the end of the race. Maybe just throwing a little bit too much intensity early on. Second place, though, shows that he's there and he does mean business, but he lost out 10 minutes towards the end of the race to eventual race winner, Hannes Simon. Carl de Toy tried to run with the numbers of the EMD QCon rider in the early stages of the race, but Hannes Simon, a man that has competed in almost every facet of motorsport in the off-road vicinity in South Africa and internationally, does not know when to quit. Simon takes the first scalp of the season. And then into the Masters category, where once again we see big numbers coming into play. Andre Mostert, although he gated in 3rd place, eventually dropped down to 7th place for the ANCAT Engineering Race Squad. Otto Horlacher was up the road from him to the tune of 2 minutes, squeaking his way inside with top 6, with Derek Hardy. New names on the page here as well, getting a job done into a number 5 ride. That's got to be one of his best results at the Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship. A former champion was up the road from him. Captain Kirk, old Kirky on the fast gas. You know, he's always out there challenging for race wins. He had a good gate, but I think he dropped back a little bit too early. And by the time he looked up, the top 3 riders were gone. So Kirky, a slow start to his championship campaign. We should see him get faster as the championship starts to come to life. João Achadina absolutely loved the technical zones on the track. He's fast enough on the fast stuff, but lightning fast on the tech as well. And that's what really helped him out. 3rd place for him will set him up nicely. A great start to his championship campaign to open up 2024. Up the road from him, there was the man that very nearly beat out on Farmer at the final round of the championship, losing the race by 1 second. Jesper Liblinkov, we like to call him Dolph Lundgren, the big guy from across the border in Namibia. 2nd place this time around, and took a little bit of a beating. It wasn't 1 second, it was more like 2 minutes, where Wayne Farmer has turned his cross-country speed into not just flat-out aggression, but also technical riding skills. Yeah, 1 or 2 mistakes along the way, but he is absolutely on point in 2024.
Yeah, man, we had to work for that one, eh? Jasper was on my ass in the first lap, excuse the French. But, yeah, no, he pushed me hard. And then on the 2nd lap, I just read the race a little bit differently. On the 3rd, Peri Peri and Lemon and Herb. Yeah, we made up some time on there, and it worked, and put it to my advantage for the last lap as well. Yeah, you know, just read the race, but it was absolutely epic out there. The body needs some training, more training, should I say. But yeah, their hands are stiff, but what an awesome route, eh? Yeah, it's choppy, because obviously a lot of it we run in reverse from last year, so it's just square edges all the time, man. It's just banging. And then, yeah, just stupid falls on the last lap, 2 stupid falls, but that's racing, you know. And managed to get up and get going, so it's all good, man. But yeah, take the first win, I can't complain.
Planning to race the vintage class, and I saw vintage was over, nothing, and then I saw Grandmasters popping up for the old toppies, and well, entered the bike, suffered today. It's my first time in 21 years I'm racing, and yeah, I had a tough day. I had to swallow my pedal halfway through. My knees were aching. I'm keyboard fit, but yeah, all good, thank you. It was a really nice race. rocks and rocks and rocks, step up, step down, step up the whole day. You don't get out of third gear. But I had a nice time. I'll be back. Really nice race. Thank you. So I bought the bike from Dirt Bike Fanatics, from Gary Whitehouse and Jade. Bike was in a really good nick, and it took me a few months. Rebuilt the whole bike, imported some plastics from Italy, redid the suspension, rode it, redid the suspension again, did some shimming myself in the garage. Sorry, Justin, from Cycle Works, but and I'm here today. And the bike worked out well, ran beautifully. Took me a while to sort out the jetting up here, but it's okay now. Yes.
Well done today.
Beautiful little bike, 18 years old, the bike, and she runs well. I'm not as quick, suspension isn't as good as the new bikes of today, but as soon as we start hitting the tech stuff, I just pass everybody, second, first gear. And then when we start speeding up, everybody comes past again. I don't have the suspension for it. But yeah, all in all, a really great bike and a nice race. Thank you.
Yeah, look, the Racecraft tyres hooked up every corner perfect today. As always, Farm Jam is an absolute jewel. It's not just for the novice guy, all the riders, pro riders, everyone can come and enjoy themselves. Yeah, look, I got my first blister probably in the last 10 years today. Today was a real beat-up track towards the end, nice and tough, but flowing, not too difficult. The novice guy can still do it. Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, we're doing the national car racing and regional car racing as well, so we're going to miss 1 or 2 events, but the rest of them will all be here.
No, I don't think so. The Axe are really going. Jeez, it was quick today. It was a great route, so very nice. It was very good. I think it's the best it's ever been, to be honest. They were nice and long, and I think the benefits were when you rode them, you did get a little bit of a head start, against the guys that went on the normal route. So I think they did very well today. I think it's very good for the sport, to be honest. I mean, there's so much investment from sponsors into the sport. I see a lot of young guys coming through, which is nice to see. That's the future of the sport, and they've set the routes up so nicely that it's safe racing. These guys are learning how to ride the enduros and the Farm Jam style, and I think it all bodes well, to be honest. So these guys are doing a great job for the sport, to be honest.
Let's confirm the results for our age group riders. Wayne Farmer dropping the hammer hard on Lublenkopf ahead of Ashadina Kirk. Hardy Hollaker mastered in 7th place ahead of Pierre Smit. And in the seniors, Hannes Simon, watch out. This is going to be the man to watch in the championship. This time ahead of De Toy, Ferreira Malan and Van Strip, with Oosthuizen, McAdam and Van Sale making up the rest of the category. In Grandmasters, new blood and a new category, with Visser ahead of Marais, Kutzer, Battersby, Reynolds, Van der Merwe, Stassen and Edwards. From the age group classes into the pros, here we go, the fast dudes. Into the S3 Pro category, where we saw a lot of new faces coming into play. There's definitely going to be a new champion on the cards this time around. Dieter de Vet for the QCon EMD squad, starting to get himself comfortable with this type of riding style at the hare scrambles. He wasn't too far off the big swingers as well, and he stayed on the lead lap. Renier Kotze was a little bit higher up the gate from him in a number 5, but only 2 minutes on the track ahead, showing how tight it is really going to be. Raymond Language, he's been styling and moving his way up there. Great to see him make the move up into the pro classes. Definitely where he belongs. 4th place shows that the pace is definitely there. He just needs a little bit more experience to run on the back wheel of the big swingers. Stian van der Herve, no issues for him. Walked away with some big numbers last year in the Pro 85s. Now he is up there into the Pro S3s with the dudes. 3rd place shows he is going to be one to watch for sure. One of the smaller guys, very aggressive though. Jerome Stubbs, he showed what he can do at a couple of the rounds of the championship last year. In fact, if he'd have raced all of the races, he missed out on 1 race at the beginning of the tour, he would have been challenging for a championship. He ended up walking away with the top 3 on the numbers. This time around, he wants to get the cheese. 2nd place, good numbers on the page for him. But when you fight against the thunder that is Ryan Peltzer on the RKM privately entered machine, there is going to be one outcome. Peltzer runs off the front. He's been custom made for the last couple of seasons for this style of riding. He's adept at high speed as well as tech, and he was gone, not only winning out on the S3 Pro category, but taking the overall on the day as well. He was absolutely pinned out here at Botchabelo. He was happy with the terrain, and it showed. In the S2 Pro category, also going to see a lot of moving and shaking, and some different names climbing to the top of the pile. Missing out on the big show inside of the top 6 was Gav Young and Nordia. Buddha Hennings was there with Anru Mostert, who had a rough gate, but did plough almost half the field to get himself up there into a number 5 spot. Ron Merry also making the big move across into the S2s. He's always been an S2 rider, but now he is back onto a smoker, which means he is on a 250 Husky, getting the job done. Figuring out this kind of tech terrain though, 4th place will show that he's a fighter and does mean business. Tristan Bontakunen, always been out there for the big fight. He ran in the top 3 almost the whole way through the championship tour last year. And he sets out his sails nice and early. 3rd place, around about 20 minutes off the win come the end of play. 1 or 2 riders getting jammed up in some of the chilly loops. Some of these square edges got a little bit squarer as the day went on and did cause some problems, but the top riders were able to work their way around those issues. Paul Krobler, who was one of the riders last year and the year before, who was absolutely banging on the S3 Pro category, he now moves up on a bike, moves across from a 4-stroke onto a smoker, and up to 2nd place at the first time of asking. One of the massive stories on the day was this guy. I know he can swing off the back on the high-speed stuff, I just didn't know he was that good on this kind of mixed tech terrain. Tyrone Peltzer, even though he went goon cannonball, broke his peak off on lap number 1, he was still up there, able to challenge for top placings, walked away with the win in category and 2nd overall on the day. That meant he passed every single one of the S1 Pro category riders on the way. These are the dudes that we're picking up on now. Sean Vulcan was just out of the big show in 7th place on the big 450 Honda. Up the road from him was Ruben Peters. Peters kind of gonna be a slow burner this season, but look at the talent pool on this gate. Ron Smith, the reigning champion, having to settle for a 5th place ride in the early start to the championship. He's going to get a little bit faster as the season rocks on and rolls. Up the road from him was Matthew Battersby, who last season swung a leg and did his first ever Farm Jam Championship racing tour. Now he's going to go out there and challenge for podiums every single time. Battersby was on a burner, likes it super tech, as does this rider, making a bit of a name for himself. Follow his YouTube channel if you want to see what this guy does with his time. He's now moved up into the pro category onto the 300 Husky, loving that machine, and Alru van der Westhuizen takes his best ever Farm Jam result, 3rd place at the season opener. John Buerter dipped a toe into Farm Jam racing at the end of last season on a borrowed bike. Now he's got his own ride out of Bikers Warehouse on the 300 Smoker. By nature, not a technical rider, but getting better and more adept at it every single time he goes out. Thank goodness he's got those big long legs. He danced his way up to a number 2 finish to take the fight all the way to the top. He actually only lost out on the win by less than a minute to eventual race winner Devon Smith. The Devastator is back. He had some big injury problems last year. He's taken a step back from the high-speed stuff and going full tech and hair scrambling for the season, and he walks away with the S1 Pro win at Botchabelo. The Devastator is loving the 300 Smoker, and it shows. Even though he made 1 or 2 little fluffs out there, he still had a big smile on his face underneath that Bell Husqvarna helmet. Takes the checkers, and he's stoked.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I didn't actually know where I was throughout the day. I was just slowly catching people, and then I think on the 2nd last lap I made the pass into 1st overall. So yeah, but it was a lacquer race. Lots of laps, 5 laps, and good track. Yes, and there's a little bit of everything. We did some forests and grass sections, rocks. It was really lacquer.
Not a bad day. I'm surprised on the 300. This thing is just amazing through every rock section, in every mud section. I love this 300 and I think I'm going to keep it. It was really, really hard, but it's enjoyable and yeah, bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with my result. The ice cream loop's really long, actually very long, and I took it twice by accident. So after that I had to catch up, and yeah, not a bad result after that. It was techie. It was really nice and flowy, but the rocks were techie. And yeah, not my thing, but I got the hang of it at the end, and I'm happy. Yeah, yes, the new bike's awesome. Awesome new team. Really excited to be a part of their team this year, and yeah, get some good results.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this track. It worked with me. It was my type of riding, but I couldn't have done it without my TBR suspension. My TBR suspension was on point today. It was absorbing all those knocks, and also my fast KTM was on par today. That bike was amazing. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And otherwise, I'd just like to say thanks to 114 Mooses. I love their Mooses today. It was amazing. And otherwise, yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah, there was a bit of everything. There was rocks, there was step-ups, there was forest sections, there was flat out. So it was very lekker. So you really needed to be an all-suited rider for this track, otherwise you wouldn't have done well.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with myself. Also the new bike. Didn't expect a third. So many fast guys out there. So yeah, very happy. Yeah, that was rough. It was really bumpy. Rocks, everything just tires you out, eh? But yeah, had fun. Yeah, I think just take it from here and try and improve where we're losing time and maybe try and get a second or a first. We'll see what happens.
Here's a confirmation of the pro category top swingers. Devastator on the top once again. That's where he's happy. Ahead of Buerta, Van der Vestes and Battersby. Smitty down in 5th place ahead of Peters. And then into the S2 pros, Tyrone Paltzer. Huge shock on the day to take that win. And 2nd place in the overalls, beating out on Grobler, Bontekonen, Merry and Mostert. And in the S3 Pro category, the overall winner on the day was Paltzer. He also scores numbers at the top of his category, taking the win ahead of Stubby, Van der Heever, Language, Kutzer, De Vet, Rom and Battersby. That was round 1 of the Pirelli Motul Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship in 2024 from Botchabelo, with the promise of a couple of new venues lining up for rounds 3 and 4 of the 5-round championship. Stay with us. We've only just begun. This Pirelli and Motul Farm Jam Hare Scramble racing action was proudly brought to you in association with Vans Racing, Stack Ups, SVR Innovations, Vitri Designs, and ANCAT Engineering. So that's what went down out at Botchabelo. That's the 4th time we've been out there, and that venue, for one reason or another, just keeps getting better and better and better. There's so much land to work with out there, so much amazing terrain. And of course, I want to say a big thank you to Raceworks KTM. They hooked me and the boys up. We had a beautiful brand new set of bikes. We had the Husqvarna 150 and the Husky 300, and they're the latest, greatest models. They're the 2024s. We couldn't have got out to the positions without this bike. So to the boys and girls out there at Raceworks KTM, thank you so much. These are actually their demo bikes. So if you want to go and hook up a demo, go speak to Oki and the crew down there, and they will hook a brother or a sister up. But thanks, guys. We appreciate that. We're now getting ourselves ready to move forward into our next big project, and that is going to be the GXCC Tour, back on an 8-round number with 1-round throwaway, and it's going to be Lakoa Lodge where we head things out. The late rains are still with us, and that's great news. Lakoa Lodge really works well with a little bit of extra rain and no fire, please. But of course, it's really, really wet at the moment, so that's not going to be an issue. Vienna Miranda will put together something rock and roll for us. And as always, we will see you out on the line. Hollywood's going to be back on the mic, bringing you all the noise on the event as well. So we'll see you guys out there. Get those entries in.